Yes, guys, hello and welcome to the Spurs-related YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone's doing very well on this Tuesday evening. Many apologies if you weren't in the live room there. We did have some technical difficulties. I'm gonna blame myself on that one. My internet decided to go down the pan, but you know these problems do happen. Just like the many problems that Ange Postecoglou'S is going to, of course, face in his tenure at Tottenham. I am delighted to say I'm joined alongside regular co-host Andre from SpursRelated. Jack Burford is back from his lads do in Marbella. And we've also got Sam Chipek. Sam, first of all, mate, thank you very much for coming on. Such last minute, absolute carnage it's already been. But how are you doing, mate?
I think you summed it very nicely on the introduction, carnage and problems to face. And it's quite clear as well that we had the problems before going live, but we've overcome it. And hopefully, you know, this new manager that's come in might be able to address a few issues or two and sort it out. And I'm really happy to be here on this podcast, of course.
I'm back. Andre, how you doing, mate? I didn't actually hear what Sam said. Sam, I'm sure what you said was absolutely brilliant, mate.
Well, again, Sam, we're glad that you're here to talk to us about all this starting 11 sort of thing that we're going to do in a bit. But I'm doing well. Obviously, Postecoglou is now the Tottenham manager. It is big news. We did not take as long as we thought we would to get one in terms of from the end of the season. I personally thought it was going to take till like halfway through the summer to get someone in. But here we are. Postecoglou's in, and there's a sort of overhaul that needs to happen. But before we even get to that, we should probably talk about the starting 11 of the current squad, if that's even possible. But right before we get started, though, Jack, how are things with you?
Nah, I'm doing well, Andre. Glad to be back on the podcast with the boys. It's great to have Sam join us today. I haven't been here for a while. I haven't been back been busy on the lads' holiday, which was nice. But yeah, we're back talking all things Spurs. So what better way to do it than today, having Ange Postecoglou's as our new manager? And I'm sure we've got lots to talk about, maybe even differing opinions on if he's the right man to take us forward. But now I'm looking forward to this one. It should be good.
Great, yeah, and you know, I think the most important thing here, right? The context we're going to go through is, because this is possible, right? Is you come in, you're Postecoglou, Daniel Levy comes in, he tells you, hey, if you know, it might take a little longer to get some signings, so you're going to have to work with what we have. That is what we're going to talk about today. We have Mark Cousins. Good day, guy. Mark Cousins, glad that you're here. Everyone else who's listening, please put in the comments what your starting 11 would be with the current squad that we have. Although that might not be that strong. Some players might leave, some might stay. But let's get started. Sam, since you're our guest today, do you want to get started with yours today?
With the starting 11.
Oh, yeah.
Big pressure, letting him go first.
Yeah, it's big pressure. You see, we love to like run our mouths on Twitter, some of us. But then if we're actually put on the spot, we don't even know like where we can go. But that's the truth of it, really. Last season, well, yeah, it is last season now. But coming into this season, it's very obvious that we should do a clear out. But if we were to like keep hold of players, I mean, obviously Foster shouldn't be our first goalkeeper. We should go for a first goalie, but with the decline of Lloris, I mean, what choice do we have? Then as our fullbacks, Emerson Royal and Udogie from Udinese. I've heard very good things about him, but I'm not going to pretend that I've been watching Serie A and that I know these tactics inside and out. But, you know, there's a reason why we signed him. So obviously, of course, you got to stick him on there. Romero and Davis, I mean, look, both of them I don't think performed great. I think it would be incredibly rash if we just got rid of him. He had a great first season with us, so let's give it a third. And Davis, I mean, not really someone I'd want to keep on to, but again, he's our best centre-back after Romero, which is actually a bit of a worrying factor, really, if those are the standards we're going to settle with. Yeah, I made a slight mistake with the middle, and to be honest, I'm still like undecided how I would structure that middle. But Bentancur and Basuma have all got to stay for me. And Højbjerg, I know he gets a lot of stick. I don't think he sometimes gets enough credit for when he does perform well. I'd say, maybe listen for offers, but not the first player I'd want to get rid of. And then our front three, Son, Kane, and Kulusevski. So that would be my starting lineup with an undecided structure of a 4-3-3.
Well, I got a question for you, Doggy. There, do you think he's ready?
I don't know, but if we're looking at current players right now, I don't think we should be putting Davis as a left back, since centre back has been his more comfortable position as of lately. And to be honest, I don't even know if 4-3-3 would benefit us at all, because our centre backs have been too comforted in a back three. So, I could look at this within next week and say, no, what was I thinking? How could I have this starting lineup? But I just don't know if he's ready. But if he's young and we want to have a new project and we want to take risks, then I guess he's one for the criteria.
Yeah, I mean, Jack, what are your thoughts on Udogie? Do you think he's ready to go?
I think Udogie is exciting. It's unknown what he's going to bring to Tottenham. Obviously, we've heard him. Everyone speaks of him in high regard. He was smashing it in Serie A this season. I've been reading he was one of Udonese's best players. We know he plays in a left wing back system. So will he be able to adapt to the rigours of a Postecoglou system where you're likely to play as an inverted fullback? You're more playing centrally. So that's yet to be decided. But at the end of the day, I don't think Davies is strong enough to play a left back anymore, in my opinion. I personally wouldn't be having him start centre back. I like him, but I think his time is, we need to move on. I know today is about the current players. We're not going to look to the future. Today we're going to work with what we have got, but I would still prefer someone like Longley if he extends his deal. But focusing more on Udogie, I think he's a really talented player. When I have watched Serie A, he always stands out. And I think if we were trying to get him this summer, we wouldn't be able to, because I think he would be held in higher regards by lots of teams around Europe, and Tottenham wouldn't have any European football to offer. So I'm very glad we made the signing when we did, which is quite smart on our end, makes a nice change. But yeah, I think he's going to bring a lot to the table, and I think he's probably better than the left back options we have currently. So I think we've got to give him a chance.
Wow. Well, that's a good analysis. I would think the same. I think it's time to give other players a chance, give the young players a chance, the ones that you've signed, right? Why sit them on the bench, wait for them to get older, make them become less confident? Nothing is better than that, than having your coach give you those opportunities. Yeah, and Agalia over here saying hello, and as well that Davies wouldn't work in Ange's style of football. He can't pass accurately or quickly enough, and we will buy a ball playing center back, left center back. So there's some slack there on Davies. What do you say to that, Sam?
I guess I do agree with that, to be honest. I've not been pleased with him, and I think we do definitely need, as this subscriber of yours has commented, to have a left centre back and ball playing for that matter too. I think how old is Davis now? Like, he's close to 30, isn't he? And not being ageist, but I am being, in terms of looking back at the years of when we signed him. I think we've just got to settle our standards for better, and it will be difficult with the club that we operate as. And we don't know what this manager wants to bring in. I know that he has a no BS policy, which is nice to see, but I've also seen every single manager say that, and we don't see the changes. So I do prefer to be reserved on that. But for Davis, yeah, we definitely need a new centre back. That is a priority signing in my book.
So you'd prefer him over Dyer, Sanchez, Tanganga? Well, what were your thoughts there on that?
Well, yeah, I would, because I think he's better than them, but it doesn't mean that we should therefore keep hold of him, because again, it's about standards for me.
Very true. And James, what do you think of this lineup? Do you think this would work?
I think it would work. I think when we come on to mine, there's a couple of differences. Not Emerson Royale, and Andre, you're one that really is one to say about this. He is a right back, not a right wing back. He was brought in as a right back under Nuno, and was never really utilised as a right back. Obviously, Angie's formation with four at the back would work very well for him. But I just can't see a starting 11 with Tottenham without Pedro Porro. And I know you could argue he's more of a right wing back, but I think Pedro Porro is just an all-round better player, and I'd rather play someone that's genuinely a more, much more of an asset to the team than Emerson Royale. Yes, he came good last year, but we know he's a liability, right? I don't think anyone can disagree. Like, people may be surprised he started playing better, and I think some people go a bit over the top about how good he is, but I would honestly play Porro as a right back. And someone's just put in the chat, Prop Loader, big up to you, mate. I've completely said that wrong. Prop Hader, sorry. He thinks Royale centre back. Now, under an Ange system, I still wouldn't say this would 100% work. But where he plays the sort of inverted wing backs with a sort of player that sort of comes and drops into more of a midfield role, you can almost have Porro as that role going further forward, and then it becomes a 3 at the back. And then you could also argue that Royale goes as a right centre back with Romero and whoever the other centre back we get is. That could potentially work. So you could see them both in the lineup. However, I still think, like Sam said, it's a really good point. The main priority for me is the left centre back and just any other centre back, because we are really struggling to even get a starting 11 of 2 competent centre backs at the moment. You could say Longley, can we extend that? I would argue probably not. But if we do extend that, I still think we need 1 or 2 more. We've been linked with Harry Maguire today. I think it's absolutely outrageous. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but yeah, that's just my thoughts so far.
Oh my God. Why would you even bring him up? Oh my God.
Well, I saw it today. I know it's not tier 1, but bloody hell. Anyway, Haddie's in here saying Porro will cook under Ange. I think he will. Jack, what do you think about Porro under Ange Postecoglou'S system?
I think Porro is a fantastic player, but I think if you look at our 4 players we've currently got in defence, and I know we're focusing on what we have got, not what we haven't got, because we've got lots of planned videos for that. But realistically, Porro is such an attacking-minded fullback, and I don't know if he has the tactical discipline to sit back in a Postecoglou system. Maybe one fullback goes forward and the other fullback sits and he comes more centrally. So that could work. But Udogie and Porro are so attacking minded. They both do similar things, and I feel like you've got to have a bit of a balance, and that's why, a bit of a spoiler alert, that I would actually play Royale as well, or I think you can only start one of the 2. If you're going to play Porro, I think you've got to play maybe Davies left back, and I feel like I would rather see what Udogie brings forward and have Emerson Royale play more invertedly, because when he's played centrally a few times on Conte, I think he's been really good, so I feel like it's a position that you may be able to adopt.
Adopt or adapt?
Adopt. That works, doesn't it?
It does. I'm only playing with you. I'm only winding you up. No, good point as well about Emerson. Maybe I'm in the minority on Emerson here. Andre, what were your thoughts on that as well?
On Royale, well, I agree. You guys kind of summed up what I've been thinking about Emerson Royale, right? I do think he's better defensively, but he is that right back, not a right wing back. And that's always been the issue, that he's been played in a position that he has never, that's not his thing. His thing is right back. Even in the Brazil squad, that's what he played. So I think he would play much better here. We'll get to that when it comes up to my lineup. But in terms of Emerson, I would play him there. What I saw from Porro, very good going forward, scored some goals. But defensively, sometimes he was just left standing there and the guy would just be left open. It was just shocking to see some of the goals that happened because Porro just ball watched.
Yeah, for sure. Sam, going back to you, talk to me about, other than the centre back, which position do you think is the most vital to recruit for under Ange, in terms of that 11 you've got up at the moment? Where is the weakness other than centre back?
Other than centre back, so it's either a goalkeeper or a centre mid for me. We've got a competent, more or less competent goalkeeper for the time being. So maybe midfield, but I can't speak about one thing alone, because for me, if you've ever heard me speak on the Twitter space, it's, a mass clear out and mass change with lots of new faces in. So, and it's not just for starting 11, it's for squad depth too. But maybe maybe just not have someone like Højbjerg starting 11. I'm not saying he can't play starting 11 anymore, but we do need that competition. And I feel like with this 4-3-3 formation, we just need someone that is competent enough to press, create chances, and track back when needed. And that's a big philosophy for Postecoglou. So a new centre mid, ideally. But for a goalkeeper, yeah, definitely as well. I'd probably put David Raya in from Brentford. I know we bid 20 mil for him, but I think Brentford want 40 mil. So, you know, you probably know how that's going to end normally with our bids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Just a very, very quick one. I've just noticed the numbers are just completely rocketed up. We're on like 60 viewers. I think 20 of them are on YouTube, but about 40 are on Facebook. I'm not sure if we've been shared onto some Facebook page. If we have, amazing. Welcome in to all new listeners and new watchers. Just a quick one. We are over on YouTube as well. If you want to come and smash a sub and join in the discussions, I can see some of the Facebook comments, but I know there is a thing where some of them don't come through. So if you do want to come over to YouTube, have your say on the comments. We're just Spurs related on YouTube. So bigger yourselves up. I'm not sure. I think we've been shared on some huge page because it's nearly 100 now.
Probably because of this starting 11. I was thinking, like, what the hell is starting 11? I was in a rush, man. It's just like top of your head. You know what I mean?
Really happy with Emerson Royale playing right back, aren't they? Absolutely buzzing.
Yeah. Love it. It's Ellie shared the stream. Love it. Cheers, Ellie. Thank you very much. But yeah, like on Facebook, there's like 50 of you. Gary's saying he's watching from Seattle. Big yourselves up. Watching all the way from over there. Spurs on sabbatical, also an absolute legend in the comments always, saying Levy ain't paying 40 million for Raya, but he will pay 30 for Pickford because he has a strong relationship with the Everton owners. And Hadi saying, do you think Ndombele will play under Ange? Well, I think this brings us on to potentially someone else's lineup. Has anyone picked Ndombele just very quickly?
I believe
Jack has, so it's perfect. Let's move over to Jack's. Is this Jack's right here?
Yes. That looks like, what a lineup that is, by the way.
I'm not convinced. Let's hear it.
Okay, fair enough. Here we go. Yes, it is a lot of square pegs in round holes, and this is far from the ideal lineup. But as you can see, look at that midfield. That does me excited to go to N17 and watch Tottenham. The amount of technical ability in that midfield with Ndombele, Basuma, and Bentancur, that does get me excited about the thought of watching Tottenham. I feel like Basuma, I don't know. I'm still unconvinced whether he can play in a lone CDM role or he's more of an 8. But for me, I would play Basuma CDM on his own, and then I'd have Bentancur on the left and Ndombele almost in that. I was going to say high pressing, but as we know, Ndombele doesn't really like to high press as much. But who knows? Maybe Ange Postecoglou'S is the man to bring him forward. So I think him pressing high up, but given that free role to have that creativity and the license to go forward, could work well. The Ndombele revolution, can it happen? Third time lucky? Who knows? What do you reckon, boys?
Well, we'll see. You say technical ability in that midfield. With Ndombele in there, you're talking like maybe 45 minutes of technical ability, then he's going to be subbed off. So,
yeah, but come on. We need a bit of positivity back to the channel. I'm saying Ndombele, yes, he is far from the most disciplined player, and he's done quite well at Napoli this season, but as we know, he only really comes on after 60 minutes. But at the end of the day, he is someone that gets you off your feet. You're like, wow, I really want to see this man succeed because his trickery around the box, his ability to drop the shoulder and find a pass in behind. I still remember that Kane goal against Liverpool when we all believed Ndombele, this is the start of him. And it hasn't worked out. But you know what? I just want to see him playing football again. He might not be up to the level. He may not have the fitness, but he definitely has the creativity and the flair to get me excited and watch football again, which we all need to see. We all want to watch our team play football. And a Postecoglou and Ndombele renaissance, it could be fantastic.
Look, you're getting me hyped over it, but I'm telling you right now, every time I think about Ndombele, I just think about that 200K he's making, and it just fires something up inside me that he needs to go. I don't know, Sam, do you agree?
Oh, of course.
It's not just the fitness or the attitude that's the issue for me. It's his adaptability with a team that's expected to press, because you don't see that enough from Ndombele. He just doesn't press. If you saw him, like, I don't know, like as a FIFA street player, You know that game. Remember that game, FIFA Street? Yeah,
What a game.
He'd be boss at that. But top level football where it requires fitness, changing formation and style of play within the game, and having to track back. It's like, you ain't even got the fitness for Sunday league football and you're just having a little jog in the middle.
Yep.
I don't think that's going to make him
Spot
thrive
on.
under a new manager if he continues like this. I get why you're excited about him because it's as if his feet have been kissed by God with the way he's able to control that ball. But it's more than just that in football, unfortunately.
No, it certainly is, and I think I totally agree with what you're saying. Like when Napoli got knocked out of the Champions League, it's just reminding me how Ndombele was the one who gave away the ball, and then he just slowly jogged back while the other team went on the counter attack and scored. I think it was AC Milan. But at the end of the day, we haven't really got any other options. I personally don't want to see Højbjerg being our most forward-thinking midfielder because he's a good player, he's a decent player, but he's not good enough for where we want to be, and he can't play in that role, in my opinion. So I would rather see Ndombele just be given, even if it is 45 minutes, just given that one more chance, really, to see if he's got the ability. And I think for me, it brings me a lot more joy seeing Ndombele given that one more chance because, as you said, his feet have been kissed by God. Like, I've never seen a man with so much ability. We've seen Kane and multiple of the Tottenham players say, when we watch him in training, I think even Gareth Bale said when they play with him, he's so talented. And I feel like it'd be a shame to not give him that one more chance. And just for the fun of the video, I'm going to put him in ahead of Højbjerg.
Right, so Jack, Sam let you down gently in terms of saying this would never work. I'm not going to let you down gently. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you, Jack. I think you're absolutely mad saying Ndombele would come back into this team. I think you've got your blinkers on in terms of you've watched Napoli a couple of times this season. You got a bit of Euro expert in you, the tippy-tappy sort of like dribbling in midfield, thinking he's Paul Pogba, prime Paul Pogba. He's basically Paul Pogba of now. He gets injured loads. He runs around the pitch for about 2 minutes, gets tired, gets a bit lazy, starts walking around, head down, really, really depressed. Doesn't even bother running in the lineup, by the way, in the warm-up. The guy is a joke. The guy is a donkey. Get him out. Get him sold for any money we can get at the moment and be done with it. Done. Bang.
Okay. I'm just going to sit in the middle here between you and James, where I'm just going to say that if it's for the benefit of squad depth, then maybe keep hold of him if he needs to play for like another 20 minutes, let's say, and can create, stability in terms of keeping a result going. But other than that, I just can't see him being a starter-up player or a player of importance, especially with this philosophy we'll be playing under.
Spot on, Sam.
Yeah.
Spot on, Sam. I mean, Mark's got a good point here. How many chances do you give one guy? I mean, Jack, why don't we give Vincent Janssen another go from Antwerp? Because he scored a few goals this season. So what, do you want him back as well? I mean, seriously, it gets to the point where you're like, how many chances do you give one guy? It's like, how many chances would you give a girl that was, really, really toxic to you and you wanted to basically like leave, but you come back for her, Jack? What are you actually thinking on this one? I really don't understand it. I genuinely
look. What I'm saying is
with you, but I'm not.
Of course he's with me because he knows Ndombele brings the vibes back and the technical ability. And I believe that we have not got the best midfield at the minute. I don't want to see Højbjerg playing in that 10 role, the high-pressing attacking midfielder. No, I wouldn't. I would rather, because I hope he's going to be replaced anyway, but for the sake of this video, with what I've got now, if I want to see some free-flowing attacking football, someone who can pass through the lines, Ndombele is that man. And I feel like, yes, he's going to be replaced. But you've been telling me, this is all I've got. This is the squad. And Ndombele's going in my starting 11 for today.
Okay, then talk us through the rest of your 11 because, I mean, we haven't heard much about how it's going to work. You said about Bentancur going forward, but, talk to me about, what you've known about Angie's way of playing and how is this going to work with this 11?
Okay, so from the research I've done, Alistair Gold has done some fantastic articles, by the way, if anyone has a chance to check them out because they're really good. Kulusevski and Son, anyway, are fantastic wingers, but they rely on, they have to be in one-on-one situations. That's what Ange Postecoglou'S wingers thrived on. And I feel like with the ability of Kulusevski and Son, they're already ready-made players in that position. Maybe not Richarlison as much, because I think he's better centrally, but Kulusevski and Son, I think, will absolutely thrive. We've already spoke about the fullbacks a bit, but one of them tends to play inside and allow an extra option in midfield to help progress the ball forward. And then I've read, so the players that I've currently got as Bentancur and Ndombele, they're really high pressing and they're trying to win the ball just behind the box, the penalty box. So we're really pressing high up the field to try and win the ball back as quickly as we can. So it's very much like Brighton, Man City system. Obviously, I'm not saying we're going to be as good as that straight away, but if you do a bit of research, it's hard not to get excited about this guy, especially when we've been playing in a counter-attacking defensive system for the past 2-3 years.
I do want to respond to a comment, if that's okay, very quickly.
Of course it is, Sam. Which one?
So Zoe Luis is saying this will be another Nuno situation. So whilst I do hear why people have these concerns, what if I was to also say hiring Nagelsmann would be another Mourinho/Conte situation? Because the way I see it is no manager is safe walking into this club. So what have you got to lose appointing an ex-Celtic manager?
True. Sam, what do you think on that comparison in terms of, do you think Ange will last past this season, for example?
I would like to think that he could last a season, but the nature of Levy is that, well, he tries to make a proactive decision in terms of sacking managers, and we did see that when he sacked Nuno and hired in Conte. We got Champions League football as a result of it, with the expense of Arsenal flopping. Fine, granted. But other than that, the moment results go really bad, and if this manager decides to speak out at Levy, then you just know it will be like an inevitable sacking. I don't know what will happen. I don't have a crystal ball, but I would like to think that, you know, if we actually honour this idea of a project, then yes, he'll last a season. But we sack him, then it's back to square one, and we're even deeper in the mud. So that's the way I see it, sadly.
Do you not think, though, guys, I feel like we all need someone who wants to be at Tottenham. And I feel like the managers that we've been linked with, like Luis Enrique, Nagelsmann, even Arne Slot to an extent, they're not that excited about the project of Tottenham. And I feel like Ange Postecoglou, someone who's worked so hard in his career at Japan, Australia, then even to an extent Celtic, he hasn't been given this massive opportunity. I feel like he's someone who's going to feel like, oh my word, I've been given this opportunity to have a 60,000 seat stadium, probably the best stadium in the world, alongside training facilities. I've got Harry Kane, Heung-min Son at my disposal. Like, this is my chance to grab this opportunity, and I feel like he'll absolutely thrive. I wasn't his biggest fan at first, but the more I look into it, it's a man that wants to be here, the man who has a real strong relationship with the fans, and it's hard not to get excited now.
Yeah, no, understood. I'm starting to get on the Ange wagon, you know. Like you said, Jack, before we came on stream, I wasn't blown away by the appointment. I'm feeling quite similar to how others are feeling, but I'm starting to move towards, you know, he's on board now. It's been announced. Obviously, it was announced earlier by the club. We have to get behind him, and for me, the main thing is we have to hope that he's back properly, because if he's not back properly, similar to what Sam was saying, it doesn't matter which manager comes in. It doesn't matter if it's Nuno, Jose, Conte, Pep Guardiola could come in. If he's not back properly, this club is going absolutely nowhere. We're going to be finishing 7th, 8th for the next few seasons at best, and especially if Harry Kane obviously ends up being sold, we are really, really in the trenches at that point. If we're not going to buy any players, if we even buy 1 or 2, it's not enough. We've got to buy 5, 6, 7 players this summer, without a doubt. I would say 2 centre backs, 1 centre mid, 1 creative player, probably another forward, certainly another goalkeeper. I mean, I've already named 6 or 7 positions there. We really do need depth as well. It's just a huge project for any manager. Gary saying, go on.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead with the comment, and I'll make
I'll just catch up on the comments, because there's quite a few coming in. You cannot polish a turd, says Gary. Stuart saying any manager is screwed under Enoch. At least with this dude, the football will be good. I agree with that. All technical players in my team. Sorry, Spurs on sabbatical. Love your comment, mate. We'll get to your 11 in just a minute. And if you guys want to smash your 11 in, that's fine. Just to make it clear, I know I lagged at the start. These 11s are based on the squad at the moment. Of course, we would like to improve in some positions, but we're going on the material we have now. In this video, COYS is saying the thing I like about him is he wants to work with the club rather than Conte, who thought he was above us and doing us a favour. I do agree with that. I really do. Richie's saying if we sack this in this season, we're stupid. We've got to give him time. Chris has become a YouTube member. Big yourself up, Chris. You're one of a few new members recently, so big yourself up, mate. Really do appreciate the support. Always been a gem on this channel, especially with the fan phone-ins. We'll have to get going again. Maybe some members phone-ins as well. Really do appreciate that, mate. Very kind of you. Stuart saying, will Ange be allowed to get rid of all rubbish players, diet and all that lot? Got to go ASAP. I think you're right, Stuart. Maxwell from Facebook saying, I think Ange will be a great manager for Spurs if he gets backed by Levy. Completely agree, mate. Completely agree. Spurs on sabbatical. Beyonce clears 5 nights at the Tottenham Stadium. And Levy says Ange can look forward to a limited summer transfer budget. It's incredible. Earlier in this week, Forbes said we were the third most profitable sports organization in the world, behind I think it was 2 NFL teams. I mean, completely incredible when we don't really spend anywhere near that 430 million net over 3 seasons, but don't get me started on that one. Chris is also saying, Stuart Austin, I was hearing that they're looking to clear players out. Spurs Talk Show, big up Shawnee. He's saying the bandwagon, love that. Couple more comments and we'll get back to things. It said that we made 30 million a night on the Beyonce shows. That's 5 multiplied by 30, which is 180 million made from Beyonce concerts. And Levy says we have no money. The only thing I'd say about this is people have to forget, like, of course, we can't just use that net. Like, we can't just use 180 million. However, I would say, like, what's the excuse for not even using a quarter or even a fifth of that money? Like, what is the reason for that? Like, where is that profit going? I just don't quite understand it. I would love to know a little bit more. Sean will probably be able to tell us. Where's Højbjerg? Says Helder. Højbjerg doesn't make Jack's 11, does he?
No, he hasn't made it, to be honest. I like Højbjerg, but I feel like with this positive football, I feel like Ndombele deserves the opportunity that I've already been scrutinised for, but hey-ho, football's all about opinion. So no Højbjerg in this 11.
Yeah. Richard saying, I think this philosophy and style of football we want to see, so I'm going to get behind him. Big up, Richard, mate. Yeah, exactly. We've got to get behind this. And Chris is saying, James and panel, do you think Ndombele deserves another chance? You just missed me absolutely grilling Jack about this. Jack thinks he should be. Sam, myself, and Andre are on the other side of the fence.
Sam was on the fence.
Sam was on the fence, but I think Sam, if it wasn't Sam's first time on the channel, he probably would have, completely obliterated you like I did. Let's be honest, Sam was just being Mr. Nice Guy. Fair play to him. Should we get into someone else's 11, guys?
Yeah, let's do it.
Andre,
I'll start with mine. Yeah, and just quickly wanting to mention about Postecoglou, a couple things. Right, the first thing is that at Celtic he made 29 signings. He completely revamped that team. That's something that could be done for us as well, right? It's not impossible. Some of these players could make us a lot of money. I'm not saying all of them need to go, but it is a possibility that he's done it before. He can get a whole new squad in if you give him the time. And lastly, I saw a quote today of Postecoglou talking about his father and how he passed away a few years ago. And whenever no matter what club he's in, he thinks when his team is playing, he imagines his father in the stands and he says, will my father enjoy watching this team play? That's his philosophy. So to me, I was like, that would get me fired up if I was his player. If it's like, he's trying to build a project where he wants to make his father proud. If his father was in the stands, would he enjoy this team? That's what he wants to do. So, if you got me ready to go with that, I can't imagine how he'll get those players going. But yeah, let's get started with mine.
Yep.
For mine, a couple of changes, a few questionable.
No, sorry, I won't.
Let's I know for a fact James is going to get mad at one of them, but
I mean, I know I've had a long day, but seeing Reguilon and Dier, I'm going to sit back tight and then explode after.
All right. So first of all, Son, Kane, and Kulusevski. I mean, you have to start those three, right? They're the most consistent ones. They're great. They're really good at passing. They'll get that ball in there. But Bissouma, Højbjerg, and Bentancur, I personally think Højbjerg gets a lot of hate. He's very underrated to me. Honestly, I think that defensively he does a lot of work, and he can sometimes, when he goes attacking, he actually scores. So to me, I think he deserves to be in there. He's quite the wall when he needs to be. And for passing wise, he's good as well. I think it's down to mostly the defense that there's a lot of mistakes because he can't really rely on passing back, because as soon as the pressure's on the back line, they fold. So I can't imagine the pressure he's under. But that's why he makes my starting 11. I do think Bentancur and Bissouma can be worked as center mids. Bissouma did many good things for Brighton, especially in that center mid role, and he would go up consistently, and he was always a threat for us in the box. So I think relegating him to stay back is not the most ideal thing for me. And then lastly, that defense. I feel like that's the big talking point for any of these lineups, is that defense, because of how much work is needed. But I personally think in a back four, you bring back Reguilon, you put him on that left back position. I think he honestly deserves one more chance. Compared to Ndombele, as Jack would say. No, not Ndombele, but I think Reguilon actually does deserve a chance because he played well. It's just the problem was that when Conte came in, he put him in a left wing back role, which he was not. And left wing backs in Conte's system have to score goals as well as defend. With Reguilon, he can score every once in a while. I know James is probably thinking to himself about those few games where he's had a one-on-one chance and he's missed them. But at the end of the day, he, as a left back, I actually think he's really decent. Dyer, to me, I've seen good things from him. I know you guys are probably going to just...
When are you seeing good things from Eric Dyer? No, just quickly.
When he was under
Mourinho. When are you seeing good things
Hang on. Let
Dyer?
Andre explain. I want to hear this.
When he was under Mourinho, I personally think he got the best out of him. The best is not that amazing at all, to be honest, but I personally think if we can get that kind of form from him again, I would start him over all the others. Longley just really bothers me, even though he performed really well in this current season, but that's not saying much. Sanchez, don't get me started on him. Tanganga, I think, needs to get loaned to a Premier League club that's in like the mid-table or lower, and have some consistency in the Premier League. I feel like we're not in a position to be giving Tanganga that many chances. If he's making mistakes, go to another club on loan for a year, get that confidence, that experience, and then come back and try again. And Davies, the less I say, the better. Romero, obviously, you got to start him. And I believe that for me, I put Porro in just because I think that he would be a better start than Emerson, just because of that attacking threat we would need, because Romero being beside him would sort of cover for him if he does go up. I think that Reguilon could stay back a little, and we work more so on the right side, and Son could be more of the guy who does the runs if we need to, if Reguilon can stay back. So that's my starting 11.
Right.
You sound pretty good.
I don't even think I need to say anything here, because who was it said? Mark Cousins said, whatever you're drinking needs to be distributed to the rest of the Spurs community. Because, I mean, Andre, you're in a massive minority here saying Dyer would start for Spurs. And I understand it. I understand you want a new centre-back. Don't get me wrong. Let's not completely, dismantle what you're saying here and take it the wrong way. I completely understand. Actually, no, I don't completely understand it. I completely don't understand it. Eric Dyer, I just never ever want to see play for Spurs again. He is the one player along with Davinson Sanchez where I don't want to see them involved in the 11. I think Ange has to come in. Apparently, there's big transfers out happening according to a few tier 1 sources. He has to be first to go along with Davinson Sanchez. Harry Winks obviously should never ever be back in that stadium again unless he's playing Tottenham in the Europa Conference League for Sampdoria. And the other thing is, Reguilon, I'm not getting that. His final product makes me very sad because he could be an incredible player. I always go back to it. That season under Mourinho, he started off so well. He then just tailed off, and every time he got forward and supported the attack, His final cross was never there. His final shot was never there. His final ball was never there. It was so frustrating to watch. I think Reguilón has a bit of value to him that maybe an Atletico Madrid or others will want. I don't know if Atletico Madrid will want to buy him, but he's also got this injury-prone thing now where he has had surgery. For me, if you can get 20, 30 million for Reguilón, I don't even think we're getting 30. I think if you get 20 million, you take it, you move him on, and you get a more competent left back. Udogie's coming in now. He should be a starter. Let's get a backup left back in that position. That's not Reguilón for me. I don't know what you, Sam and Jack, are thinking.
Well, yeah, I'll just say what you said about Dyer. Doesn't need to be said for the second time. We can all agree to disagree. I do feel a bit sorry for Reguilón, to be honest. I think he had a brilliant start under Mourinho, as you said. And then it's just like things just took a turn. And I don't know if he just got unlucky with injuries or just something between him and Conte. But I think for me, I list Reguilón as, not one of the first players I'd throw out. Just listen for offers if there are any. Again, it's good to have squad depth. So, I wouldn't be outraged to have, say like it does kick off well for Udogie and he gets starting 11 status. Then, to have Reguilón as a squad depth would be good. It might even fill in with confidence coming off from the bench. Who knows? I'm going to agree with Andre on what you said about Hotspur as well, actually, because whilst I've not been a fan of Hotspur myself, I can appreciate that he has done some good for this club, and it's not all down to him when the back four aren't able to, or back five in that case, if it was under Conte, to have been able to keep possession. So you can't really hold. I'm not saying Hotspur is a saint or an angel and has never done anything wrong, because he's done a lot wrong, but he's not the main problem for me. And yeah, the front three, I do completely agree with that. Porro, I don't know if I'd want to play him as a fullback in a back four. I might feel more inclined to have him squad depth as a winger, because he does look good when he goes forward. So maybe there might be something for him to offer as a winger. But yeah, I just don't agree with Dyer, in short.
I knew that would cause controversy here, but at least on my end, I've seen good things. I know everyone else is saying there isn't any, but again, it's between Davies, Dyer, Tanganga, Longley, and Sanchez. That's, what can we say?
Playing Andre, him in a 4-back. I think in a 5-back, he's a lot more suitable, because he can play in the middle. He likes to point and shout, as someone said in the comments. And I think he can be a solid option, because he's a big stature, and he doesn't have to play and run in behind. I think if we're playing a high line and we have to make progressive passes to the midfield, I really don't think he has the technical ability to be able to deliver that on a weekly basis. I think he's the ball at his feet, and I don't think he's that fast either. So if he's trying to recover, he's not really going to be able to, especially when you're playing against the likes of Man City, Arsenal, Brighton, Brentford. These people with fast forwards, he's not going to be able to deal with it. I think Dyer's a decent player, but I don't think he's good enough to play in a 4-back at Tottenham. Definitely not.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Guys, so many comments coming in. Really appreciate the support tonight, especially as it was a bit of a last-minute video. A lot of new faces. ADX1NS. Big yourself up, mate. Some really good points. Send Ndombele for Hojbjerg, as he's very press resistant. And he also says Udogie can play left back and can also invert. Some really good points. Jason saying thoughts on Hojbjerg playing as a centre back. Jason, if that would ever happen, I would never watch Tottenham Hotspur again. Putting it quite brilliantly. If Hojbjerg turns into a centre back, we are pretty much washed. It's without completely rinsing your point. I just don't think Hojbjerg's a centre back. The main reason he's a player that can get forward as well as back, and he's just also not, he's probably not tall enough to be a centre back. Number one, number two, his aerial ability isn't very good, and number three, it just wouldn't work. I mean, he's a CM CDM at best on a good day, and yeah, I would say no. Hojbjerg will not work. His system will need quick nicky players. Also, Ellie said that earlier. A lot of people saying Hojbjerg won't work in his system. And I also agree. Guys, there's 70 of you watching across all platforms. Really, really do appreciate the support tonight. And if we haven't got to your comment, again, really, really appreciate the support and all the comments. I do see every single comment. We just can't put them all up and talk at the same time. We're doing our very best. Someone asked me earlier, are we live on Twitter too? We're live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube is the main one where we've got a lot of people commenting and giving their thoughts. You can also join, become a member, send super chats if you want to skip the comments queue. So all that good stuff over there. Spencer saying sell Højbjerg. Chris is saying Dyer's awful and Højbjerg will be a squad player. I'll quickly go into my one. And let's quickly say, so Kane, Son, Kulu speaks for itself. I think they're the best front three we can get. Obviously, if we lose Kane, we've got to explore other options. I think the three in midfield, people obviously saying about Højbjerg, but for me, Skip is not at the level we want. He decides to pass backwards. For me, Ollie Skip, it's just blossoming into Harry Winks V2. I don't know if that's harsh. It'd be interesting to know what you guys think as well in the comments. But I would just say Ollie Skip, I don't think it's Premier League level for a team pushing for top 6. I really think Ollie Skip would be brilliant in a team like a Nottingham Forest or a Fulham, where they're sort of mid to bottom of the table. They need that kind of centre mid that's got experience at the top level. Ollie Skip's got experience in the Champions League. He's got experience in the Championship and Premier League. He's got experience for a fairly young player. I think Ollie Skip's coming up for like 20. How old is he now? 24, 5. I just think if we get a loan offer that's decent, I think we get rid of Skip this season. I would take those three. I think Basuma's going to be an absolute revelation without repeating everything that everyone said already. I think he's going to be unbelievable in an Ange system. I think it's the exact sort of player we need to sort of bring the ball forward, track back, and just that absolute engine box-to-box player. They sort of have Callum McGregor at Celtic that does similar things. He's sort of their main vocal point in midfield, brings the ball forward, comes back and just puts in a hard tackle. That's Basuma all over for me. Never really got a chance under Conte, but I think under Ange, I really do think it's going to be like a new signing. Bentancur speaks for himself. Obviously, he's still injured at the moment, but he's an absolutely ridiculous player. When we lost him last year, we saw how bad we were, how the wheels just completely fell off. So for me, 100% Bentancur is in there. And then Højbjerg, like I said, is just fits in. I would get another player, though, in centre mid. I'd get a more creative player. We've hardly got any creative players at the club, as Sam was saying earlier as well. And then Forster in goal. Lloris is going. We know that, but I would get another keeper. Back four. What differs from your guys' Emerson shout, Porro? As I was saying, I just think you have to play the player that's playing well at the moment. He got a few goals and assists last season. Yes, in a right back, he's probably a bit more vulnerable, but that's where you get the cover of someone like a Basuma to drop in or a Højbjerg to drop in. Romero, obviously we know he goes forward, so actually the two most attacking players there, Romero and Porro, that right side of defence could get completely exposed, but I'm also thinking pretty decent. Udogie, I think he's either going to be an absolute revelation or he's going to be a bit overhyped. I don't know yet. I hope it's the first. And Longley, you just can't put Dyer in. You can't put Sanchez in. You can't put Tanganga in. Who have I missed? Longley isn't great himself, but he's the best ball playing centre-back. I thought he wasn't actually too bad at the end of last season, but I also think we need a centre-back desperately.
I actually don't mind this lineup, but just Longley to me, again, I don't know about that one. But you know what? At the end of the day, I picked Reguilon just because I think it's the safest bet. You are taking a gamble with Udogie, but if I do stand by what I said as well, in the sense that sometimes you just have to give the young players a chance. You spent money on them, right? You've given them the chance at loans, and they've excelled there. So the next step is to give them a chance here. And unlike Sessegnon, I think we need to do the same for him and just give him chances this season and see what happens. Drop a few left backs down the pecking order and give Udogie his run and see what happens.
I spot on Andre, and I've got to say, Jason, that's 1-1, mate. You've got me there. Højbjerg's the same height as Dyer. Yep, I got that one completely wrong. I just don't think Højbjerg's a centre back. I don't know what you guys think. Just quickly going back to that.
Yeah, I don't think he's a centre back. He's played CDM centre mid his whole life at Denmark and players, and I don't, as a leader who sees himself as a leader, and I think we all do. I don't think he would want to drop back to centre half at this late
Mm.
of his career. But you never know in football; things change.
Yeah, and I think also here, ADX hit NS's point about Laporte. Laporte would be an unbelievable signing. I
100%.
think he's definitely leaving Man City. We saw him in tears at the end of last season. I would love Laporte. Sam, thoughts on Laporte?
It's better than what we've got.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
He won't join us, I don't think. If I'm being negative for a change, I feel like he's such a good player that he's going to be in demand by all the top teams around Europe. And it doesn't seem like many people right now are attracted to join Tottenham unless Ange can charm his way with these players. But I feel like he's going to go more for these hidden gems, maybe in the Japanese A-League or the Australian League. I don't feel like we're going to be going for these higher profile players, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'd love Laporte. He's a fantastic player.
100%. Super stuff, guys. Really, really good discussions today. Apologies for the slight technical errors at the start of the video. If you do want to skip back through and you're watching on repeat, we'll put some timestamps in the description on what we talk about. And also, if you're on Facebook, like I said, it absolutely blew up on Facebook. There was like, I think even now there's like 50 people watching on Facebook. So really, really appreciate all the support. If those on Facebook could hop over and sub on YouTube, you'd make our days. And those that are commenting on YouTube and showing your support, the membership obviously from Chris, absolutely, again, really, really appreciate all the support. This channel is going to be posting daily, if not every other day, content. So please be sure to keep checking out our channel. Smash the likes, smash the notifications on, all that good stuff. I won't drain you with all the promo, but you guys know all the good stuff. Big up to Sam also for joining us at really, really short notice. That's just how I work. I will improve one day. But Sam, where can people find you for the 70 or so people still watching? Which channel can they go and subscribe to, mate?
Yeah, you just type in Sam Chipek, name next to me on YouTube, and you can subscribe to me. I've been doing Tottenham content in the past. Hopefully I have a few more videos here and there. But as I said at the start, I'm very disconnected with Tottenham at the moment, so we can hope this manager might be able to connect us a bit.
Yeah, no, you're not the only one feeling the same, mate. I was very disconnected. I was hanging on by a thread at the end of the season just because of the loyalty of supporting Spurs for so long. But guys, I've put Sam's YouTube in the description. Please, every one of you, if you can, before you go, smash a like on this video on the YouTube and go and sub to Sam as well. And of course, sub to us if you're not already. But Sam's YouTube channel, great content, goes to lots of different games, not just Tottenham, vlogs. But what's it? Through the Terrace, what's it called, Sam?
Through the Turnstiles.
Through the Turnstiles.
That's not a bad name either.
Yeah, Through the Turnstiles. Go and sub to all that content. Really, really good content. And yeah, massively appreciate him coming on. Jack, Andre, been a pleasure as always, guys.
Thank you again. Always happy to talk about Tottenham. Yep.
Spot on. And yeah, like I said, guys, content coming throughout the week. Keep checking us out. Jason's saying used to watch Sam and his dad watch games on his YouTube channel. Quite dramatic stuff. There you go. A bit of a throwback. Cool. That's all we've got time for today. Hope you've all enjoyed the video. And as always, guys, remember, come on, you Spurs!